Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on March 15th, 2024 at approximately 4:29 p.m. PST. Now I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life, and the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I guide virtually every movement I make by. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me, and they have literally worked for thousands of others with varying degrees of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, with this in mind, before we get into things, we have, let's see, go way back up at the top here. And we have LA Moon in with the gold. LA, how you doing? Things are progressing on our end, and hopefully you're feeling better and things are starting to move forward on your end. We got a lot of work to do when I get down there, which is going to happen. The more I think about it, the more likely we're going to be looking in July, or possibly might be the early part of August, but I bet I'd be more likely to bet on the July thing. But we'll see how finances sit. Then we have Joe in with the silver. Joe, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I know you're constantly busy. Filled up that new Dream Journal yet? And we have Storm and Shadow in with the bronze. How you doing, Storm? Glad to see you. You're busier than all get out. That's obvious. And boy, do we got a lot we got to sort through. But I am so glad to see you here. Steve, you are in here. Steve Knox, you are in with honorable mention. How's it going? Oh, Steve, Joe has, okay, that faded past. I stand corrected. Thank you so much for that, Steve. And LA is correcting it. So, Joe, my apologies. Joe, you have the gold. That means LA's got the silver. Okay. The rest of it still holds, but like I said, I have never claimed to be perfect. I've claimed to be a lot of things. That ain't one of them. And what do we got here? Okay, now, here's the thing. We're looking at how does the flow of energy actually affect your real world? Here's the thing. I have talked to a lot of people claiming to work with energy, and yet I see them making the exact same mistakes that amateurs are making. Okay, which to my way of thinking means people have screwed something up royally. Now, I'm not perfect by any means. Definitely not perfect. Okay, with this in mind, something we have to realize: energy works similar to the way water does. Okay, what it boils down to is you don't stop energy from moving. Energy without it. You take water, it moves forward really fast on the rapids, but you cool it off. Even if you freeze it so-called solid, as in, or for that matter, humans, when they go to make a dam, they block off the flow of energy in order to draw a little bit more power, or more to the point, in order to draw a different type of power. But here's the kicker to it. Okay, if you throw a bunch of blocks in the water, it will disrupt it. Absolutely. If you're looking for high speed, if you're looking for high productivity, clear the water flow. This is where the energy in your house comes. Okay. And absolutely, guys, if you've got a question as we go along, do me a favor. Put the question in the chat room in all caps, partial caps, or at least that way we can. Okay, so that I can actually find the question. Because I will tell you, I have a lot of trouble trying to see them a lot of the time. Okay, what have we got here? Here we are. Joe's going, when I have enough downtime to concentrate, I'm going to write down in my dream journal 3, which is now journaling, to write down what I saw the other night in the cemetery. Absolutely, Joe. One thing I would suggest, though, and I understand what you mean about having a little bit of downtime to work with. It would be advisable, even if all you can do is point form, write down the point forms. Just crib notes, if you will. It will help you maintain that continuity when you do have the time to sit down and write. Now, I've tried explaining energy flow to a lot of people, and people get caught in a rut. Okay, I've got to get this project finished, which is great. But the reality is this: if you're striving to get to a destination and you don't have gas in the car, or the joints on you, or for that matter on the vehicle you're working with, are completely gummed up with junk, you're not going to get where you're aiming to very, very, very fast. So you take a look, literally, and the reason I say where you work on your finances, it's literally all connected, but it gives you a definitive point to start at. By getting rid of the clutter, you clear all that deadfall out of the way, thereby letting the water in the stream, letting the energy in the conduit flow more freely, thus becoming much more effective. Now let me ask you this: you've got the power of a fire hose. Okay, you've got that much energy coming into a conduit, but you've bottlenecked it so badly it can only pour it out at the speed of a garden hose. And you're trying to clear off the driveway, which is going to work more effectively. Okay, and I'm referring to if you've restricted the actual energy flow. Okay, so you take the clutter that's around you and start eliminating it. Now, you'll notice I got stuff all over my bed again. That's not, it's where it doesn't belong. But on the other hand, I've been working on it today. Now, what ends up happening is we are taught you've got to get your project done, which is true. Whatever you're working on does have to get done. But if you don't clear out the energy flow, okay, let's say you can only get the energy to move fast enough to work in half speed. Yeah, Joe, the point form, I honestly don't know. I wasn't there. Okay, but even if all you've written there is all you can recall, or all you can figure out how to write down, that's all you do. You just look at what you can work. There is no definitive, this is the path you have to follow. These are the words you have to use. The nice part about a journal is it's your words, your observations, not anybody else's. Okay, and I suspect strongly that you had ghosts and paranormal hunters there as well. There aren't many people that will sit there watching a cemetery if they aren't looking for it. Okay, but like I said, it was just a suggestion. Do it the way you will. Okay, the one thing that I caution people of is many times we get so caught up in doing things our way. I'm guilty of it just as much as the next person. Okay, and people get stuck doing things in a pattern they've been doing for a long time, and thereby get the same outcomes. But what ends up happening if you've got the energy bottlenecked, maybe you're only able to get maybe essentially like with a vehicle, you've got a governor on your gas pedal, so you can only get to 15 miles an hour. get that governor out from under the gas pedal, and now you can hit 50. Which one is going to get you to your destination faster or more efficiently is more to the point. The reality of it is, when we take a look at the way your life is going, it literally boils down to making it run smoothly. Okay, to clearing the clutter out of the way so it can run smoothly. Henry, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I do trust your day has been going well. I'm looking at the energy around it now. I had a neat little problem I was running into with the Yldrbac Chronicles. I knew I had a limited amount of room left to work with, and I knew that I had a lot of information already there. But I found out how to free up the room, how to free the clutter out of the way. Net result is things will come together quite nicely. But energy flows through the easiest path it can get to. Mine has been extremely productive there, Henry. But thank you very much. Energy will take the path of least resistance. Much like water, much like air, doesn't matter. The fewer blocks, the freer the energy flows. The freer the energy flows, the more effective you're going to be. But what I see so many people doing is, I've got my mindset, I'm doing this. I run into the same problem with people reaching the point of, I desire my company to expand. I want to expand. I want to have that second outlet. What they don't realize, what many people don't realize, is if you expand too quickly, you're going to blow the bottom out of your boat. Okay. But if you're restricting the energy in your life, you're going to slow yourself down to the point that you may miss that boat. Nice part about the boat, doesn't matter where along the path of life you go, you can pick it up. Unless you're dead. Okay. Or there's a deadline. Like, for instance, if you've got to have a project finished, but if you set up, I desire this project finished by the time I'm 20. If you hit 21, or if you hit 20 in one day, you're not getting it finished before you're 20. That doesn't mean you can't accomplish it. Now, when we're looking at energy flow, I'm lucky in as much as I can physically see the energy flow. But the more of the clutter you get out of the way, the easier it's going to happen for you. If you're running a company and you're running into financial struggles, I can virtually guarantee one of the biggest obstacles you've got is your office is running into clutter. Okay, you got stuff where it doesn't belong. It's not properly organized. Now, organization may not be your strong suit. Okay, it really may not. And this is why I wrote this. This is literally the key that I used to turn my life around in order to get it back on the track that I feel is right. Okay. Now, the easiest way to put it is this. You're looking at making your life run a little more smoothly. Take a look where you're sitting. Doesn't matter where you're sitting. Okay. If you're driving, get your eyes back on the front window and quit looking everywhere else. Okay. Yeah, I know that was subtle. But doesn't matter where you're sitting. See, the first thing that is out of place, that's where you start. Okay, right there. And the reason for it is procrastination will not get you very far. Oh, LA, my apologies. That is believe in yourself and follow your dreams. This literally gives the backbone of how I took my life from didn't take my life, I've never done that. But how I changed my life from being extremely reclusive and very soft-spoken to being, well, me. not entirely the best thing in the world. You get to figure that one out. Cowie, how you doing? Glad you could join us. But I've kept those books really small because, quite frankly, it boils down to a real simple issue. Keep them small, keep them simple, and I'm sure you've heard of it. The old saying, keep it simple, stupid. Personally, I prefer keep it simple, silly. Although stupid applies if you know better and you're still doing it the backwards way. Okay, if you don't, then it's true ignorance. Now the thing is this: you look at your work area, get the clutter out of the way. By doing that, you will be able to change not only your energy level and your productivity level, but you will find that your self-esteem starts to climb because you're feeling like you're getting more accomplished. Okay, these are critical parts all linked together to make your life the life you desire it to be. Okay, that's just the reality of it. Now, I am, where am I here? I think I've got it right here. Races of the worlds. Oh, I don't have it open. Well, I don't like that much. Let's see what happens if we go. Nope, not those. Open. I am looking to give you guys a little bit of an update if I can find the thing. There we are. Oh, that's volume 2. I don't desire volume 2. I'm hoping to see volume 1 here. There we are. That one. And we're just, there we go. Okay. Now, that's all done there. We have started final edit. Okay, to add the final touches to the book. Where are we? Take this one and that one. Yeah, no doubt there, Joe. Mind you, just because you're reclusive, you still are witness to a lot of things going on. Okay. And, just because somebody becomes reclusive does not mean that you become blind. Besides that, if you're out and about, you're going to miss all the activity in the cemetery. Because I'm hoping you're not planning on going to the cemetery permanently anytime soon. The nice part about it, when we look at the energy flow in your life, if you are feeling like you're not productive, here's a couple of things to keep in mind. Oh, I'm sleeping too long because I'm always tired. Okay, key factor here. Let's start with your sleep. Now, you're told, most of you have been told, you require 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night in order to get by. I'm telling you, that is a psychological mindset. It's kind of a weird setup when you think about it, because a 30-year, if you're sleeping 8 hours a day, you're actually sleeping a 30-year life. About when you're going to bed. But the most effective people, globally speaking, seem to be up and on the go by 5 o'clock local time. Okay, I'm usually up on the go earlier than that, but they're up on the go by 6 o'clock in the morning. They're in the office. 5 o'clock, up, get things organized, get, your shower, your bath, your work in an office. Grab your coffee and head for the office by 6 o'clock. This is why your millionaires are at the golf course. That or they're gluttons for punishment. I'm not entirely certain which. But this is why you see so many wealthy people at the golf course at noon. It's because they've already put in a day's work. Okay, they've already got things accomplished. Speaking of which, where is my pad? Okay, forgot that. And we grab my little pad here that's got my pen. Remember this little thing? These lists work like a charm. Pick the time you're getting up in the morning, regardless of when you're going to bed. You can always go to bed a little later. Okay, but continuity is the thing that drives energy into a stable path. This is why when water is running across a landscape, even across bedrock, water stays in a continuous travel point. That's how it manages to carve a path. You can do the same thing with your own success. Get on a path, pick the direction, pick the timing, and make it happen. If you can only run that path for half an hour and then you need to take a break, so be it. Remember, this is not a race to the finish line. Not like that. I don't like fuzzy. This is not a race to the finish line. You know, we all heard about the concept of the rabbit and of the tortoise and the hare. Okay, the hare is not the one that made the win. The tortoise, the one that said, there's where I'm heading, head down, keep plugging away, make it happen. If you've got stuff on a shelf that is not where it belongs, you're creating a barrier. Okay, if you don't believe me, take a runnel of water. Okay, now you just turn the garden hose on slow so it just pours. Now take anything short of a screen door, mind you, even that'll slow down. But you put anything in that stream, you'll slow the water down. Okay. Now, you may not be able to calculate the amount it slowed down. That part doesn't matter. Did that. Okay. I got some things I got to get done there. But when we are looking at the energy in your house, okay, in your life, I'm not talking about what I would like to see you do. Okay. Ideally, I would love to see you succeed at anything positive you're working on. This does not mean if you're working on beating people up, I wish you all the successful failure in the world. Okay, if you're treating people like garbage and expecting to be treated better, I'm wishing you, I really do hope that backfires on you as well. Yeah, Henry, if you compare energy flow to the way water flows, okay, and the way air flows, they flow in exactly the same fashion. They pick the easiest path to go through, which means lack of obstacles, whether they are physical obstacles or mental ones. Okay, here's a mental obstacle for you. I've always done it that way. Yep, you've always done it that way, but it didn't work all that well. But I've always done it that way is a surefire way to put a block in your energy flow. It's kind of like it's surefire if you take water going down a stream, down a chute, and you close the chute off somehow, you're going to block that water. Okay, it's not going to flow the way you hope it does. Energy works the same way. You'll also find if you're working in a cluttered environment, your brain is not going to work as smoothly as you would like. This is why I say get the clutter out of the way. Now you'll notice, well, you may not, but over here, that box of comics that was on this top shelf is currently over there out of the way because I'm not going into it right now. But these are all active books I'm working with. Okay, it boils down to the clutter has to go because it frees up the energy for you. Now, you don't have to believe me. It may save you a whole lot of hassles if you do, especially if you haven't tried it before. Okay, the nice part about it is once you can get it straight in your own head, you can go, okay, this is the change I desire to see happen. Once you can take that to heart, you can feel the shift. Okay, how many times have you ever been in a room where you've tried sleeping in a bedroom where there's a lot of junk around, a lot of clutter? Do you sleep very well when you do that? When you put yourself in that environment? Okay, now, having said that, clear the clutter out of the way and see how well you relax. Okay, kind of an important path when you think about it. LA, in the long run, the answer is yes. Okay, picture it, LA's asking, so does this apply to all rooms or only living areas? This applies to literally everything. Picture it this way. Take a look at your living quarters or your work environment. Either one this applies to. Okay. You compare them to the anatomical configuration of the human body for a reference point. Okay. Wherever you work on your finances. Doesn't matter if you've got a home business and a house, or if it's one or the other. Doesn't matter. Wherever you work on your finances, this is the brain of your living body. Okay. And of course, the computer works out really well from that standpoint. But whether you're working on a computer or working on pen and paper, doesn't matter. Where you're working on finances, on organizing, on planning, that is your brain. Okay, where it comes to your successful levels. Then now, take that. Now, the brain is the computer is essentially your cerebral cortex. The brain that handles all your organization, all your operating setup. That's in your office. Okay, if you've got a section for the office, this is great. Christine, how we doing? Glad you could join us. If you've got a specific office, this is great. If you don't, like in mine, my cerebral cortex is right here in this room. Now, this is also my bedroom, but it is my office. Okay, so the office is your brain. That's where you do all your organizing. That's where people keep their filing cabinets. They keep their financial records. They keep their list of bills. Unless they're like some people I know and throw the list of bills out and then wonder why they get behind. Okay, so that ultimately is the big thing. Now, that's the brain of the house. Now we go to your hallways, the connective conduits between the various rooms. Okay, and those conduits, those hallways, get the floor cleared. The hallway itself they are the arteries of your life. Okay, and just like with your own body, you shut off an artery, the blood isn't getting, and the blood nor the oxygen is getting where it needs to go. Okay, so the arteries in your living area, in your work area, are the hallways. Get the junk off the floor. Okay, have a path so it doesn't matter if you can see where you're going. You're not going to trip on something. Okay, if you don't get it off the floor, you're going to find the energy level in the house is still restricted. Then we move to your 3-chamber heart. The 3-chamber heart of the house is your living room, your living room, your kitchen, and your dining room. Okay, because that's where you rest, and put your feet up, relax, entertain. That's where you eat and prepare your food. That's a 3-chamber heart. They are equally important. Okay. And again, if we've got a clutter in any one of them, it's going to make the heart of your life's energy, it's going to bottleneck it. Now, we go to that other all-important part that nobody likes to talk about. Okay, your washroom. That happens to be your garbage disposal. Okay, that is, well, let's face it, waste reduction. And guess what that is, what part of the body that is connected to. And again, if it's not working right, you can bet your bottom dollar the rest of your house is not work right. Kind of sounds like your physical body, doesn't it? Now, you've got those are your main rooms. Now, the bedroom is that neat little place where in case you hadn't noticed and you're an adult, a bedroom is not just for sleeping. And I'll tell you what a lot of adults do in the bedroom, you cannot misconstrue that as sleep. Okay, or if you do, you're doing something wrong. Or extremely ineffective. But the bedroom is where you put your feet up. And again, get the clutter out of it. Because what happens when you get clutter in the room? Whether the clothes are not put away, the floor is covered up with stuff, or it just simply needs dusting, it doesn't matter. All of these are connected. All of them contribute to the bottleneck that you've already got. And I'm laying odds you didn't end up with the bottleneck overnight. Okay, now hopefully this is making sense. And yes, in answer to that funny little question that nobody's gotten around to, I am in the middle of documenting this stuff as well. Because the reality is, some people learn by hearing, some people learn by reading, and some people learn by doing. Okay, and with that in mind, we got a lot of work to do. Okay, now I will tell you, nobody. How are we? Henry goes, how does energy interact with electricity, or are they one and the same? Well, they are clearly not one and the same. We'll start there. Okay, electricity is a specific type of energy. Okay, what we're referring to in your body is bioelectrics and biomagnetics. Okay, and can they affect what's going on with the rest of the world and with the rest of your house? Yes, absolutely. It is one of those neat little things. LA is going, so you've got to organize your home and follow your dreams going. That's one of those neat little things that I actually did, only I called it believe in your organization and follow your dreams. And yeah, that's one of the many that are coming out in that series. It's just I got so many on the go, I've had to step back and go, okay, let's streamline it. Because as you know, I've got, if you get too many cars on the road or too many people in the hallway, okay, you're not all getting down the hall. Well, I ended up with too many books coming out at the same time, and I ended up bottlenecked. So I'll get to that in a little bit, but now there is a neat little thing here. If you take a look at this book, Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. Okay, I opened this one up specifically. And let's see. Where does it start the list off? I'm literally looking at the book right now. See this one. And we get, now it's not the first chapter by any stretch, but where is it? I think it's actually the last chapter. If you want to jump to the end, I think. Yeah, okay. And again, the nice part about the way I wrote these, at least I think it's nice, is I've written them as standalone chapters. Okay, so in this particular book, it actually covers the basics. My hands are not working together today. This is not good. I believe that's going without. Yep. What chapter is that? That is... I love trying to turn pages when my hands are shaking. That always makes it so much fun. This is one of the reasons why I don't do it a lot. Going without is chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chapter 4. Oddly enough, chapter 4, meaning foundation, is the one that tells you exactly how to set up a list and how to get it moving. I shouldn't say exactly. I should say it lays it out in very point form. Okay. But it literally boils down to take a look at where you are. Start in your, the example I give in that book is the living room. But it applies to every one of the rooms. Okay. And absolutely, it's absolutely critical. You get your life organized, you will find you have a lot more energy to work with. Okay, you'll find you get a lot more accomplished. Now, I am going to, what is today? This is March. I may just pull it off. If I push it, I might just be able to get that out before I get down there. Okay. I got a lot of work to do, and I figured out like I said, I was going to bring you up to speed on something else. I had a little bit of a bottleneck where it came to too many books, but with the Yldrbac Chronicles, I had too much written for the size of the book that I was able to work with. But I did figure out how to cure it, so I don't actually have that bottleneck anymore. Meaning tonight I start working, and I look at the last 30 pages that I've got to write, and go clicky, boom, bang, done. That's the point I'm at now. Okay. And yes, I will get this neat little thing about your house, about organizing your house. Whether we're talking your house, your office, doesn't matter. Because you got to remember, running a house is just the same as running a business. Okay, you still have all the same parameters you got to work with. But most people are not taught how to do this at all. Okay, you're told, most kids are told, clean up your room. I'm telling you, any one of you people out there, parents, you had kids, or when you were kids, parents do. They went, clean up your house, clean up your room. No one wants to clean up their room. I'm telling you, I didn't when I was a kid. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm still not really fond of the idea. But the practicality of it is hard to argue. Get the energy moving in your room, in your house. Your productivity level will climb. Your ability to relax after a stressful point in the day will climb. Your ability to rejuvenate yourself and to heal damage such as illness or broken bones will climb. But this is all done in tandem with modern medicine. Modern medicine, naturopathic, you pick your direction. Okay, the biggest problem people seem to overlook is so many people are taught blame somebody else. Doesn't work that way. Not well, anyway. I mean, go ahead. I grew up in the military. I know the game, pass the buck. Usually when I was growing up, Mom would go, Keith, I didn't do it. I'd never say who did. Okay. But, well, I shouldn't say never. Usually I wouldn't say who did. But I would absolutely go the route if I didn't do it. I'm innocent, not my fault. Many of you, when you were kids, probably did just that. Many of you as adults may well still be doing that because you've never been told any differently. Okay, but energy will flow where there is freedom to flow. It's up to you to give it that freedom. Okay, if your gutters on your house are full of pine needles or whatever it is they're full of, they aren't going to clear themselves. Well, they may. Give it 10,000 years and a steady stream of water, it'll wear it through. Prior to that, though, you might desire to get up and clean them out yourself. Now, I've thought about the idea of, gee, it'd be nice if my hallway were clear. You know, I have found out one thing very consistent. All the positive thinking in the world is absolutely useless unless you get off your tail feathers. Now, I know many of you have projects that are absolutely pressing on your mind. I gotta get them done. I'm telling you, you absolutely do. But get the office straightened out first. Get your brain working properly. You will find it far more beneficial than what you'd likely think at this point. Now, to be clear, it doesn't matter to me if you do or don't. Because obviously, whether your house is a mess or not is going to have functionally no bearing on my house. Call me selfish, I'm more concerned with mine. Okay, but energy itself requires a clear conduit. Okay, and the more people you have helping you straighten it out, assuming they are doing things as you desire and not going, oh, I'm going to help by moving this stuff over here. Moving it where it doesn't belong doesn't work that well for clearing the clutter. Okay, picture, if you will, you've got a river that is blocked off by rocks and debris. So somebody comes in and says, I'm going to help by moving this chunk of log. I'm going to move this log from this side of the river over to this side of the river. I'm telling you, it ain't going to give you as much freedom as you might think. Okay, but the other thing I will tell you, with this issue of writing the booklet on believing your organization and follow your dreams, it too will hit the market at the same value. Okay, and I call it value because yes, I do sell it at $20 in your hand Canadian. But when I talk about value, I'm talking about if you follow the tools, and it's up to you to pick the tools up. It will, and I have no doubt about this at all, it will change the energy level in your house, in your body, in your productivity levels. They'll go through the roof. Okay, and it may only be a little change at a time. Bear in mind, now I made the mistake last year of going, I'm going to straighten out my whole house. Bad idea. Pick one room. Get that one room, preferably your office. Okay, get it cleared completely. Once that's done, move on to the next room. Now, I will tell you my personal suggestion. Okay, and because of the fact I desire to get this out, you start with the brain. Okay, aka the office. Something popped in. Excellent there, LA. And you'll notice that funny little factor of 3. You know, LA's going, I personally do declutter with 3 boxes and 3 boxes of trash can. Keep, not sure, give away, and get to the trash. Okay, so we start with the office, then you go to that 3-chamber heart. Okay, the 3-chamber heart is your living room, your dining room, and your kitchen. Once you've done that, okay, now, the reason I jump a little is because what I found is that, the hallway definitely needs to be cleared. But if you've got the organs running properly, even if the energy flow is slow, you will find you have much more activity going on. Okay, then you're going to go to your waste disposal unit. That's your bathroom and or your laundry room. Quite often they're in the same place. Then you go to the arteries. Now there's something you gotta remember. You get the living room cleared out. You may find you end up sleeping in the living room periodically. But I'm going to get this written down and up as soon as I can. I just happen to have way too many cars on the go right now, and I have waited way too long for two. Okay. Yldrbacian Chronicles, Return to Paradise, is for me a critical issue. LA goes, my dining room has become a catch-all, so I changed the dining room to a pantry. Nobody was in there except to drop off coats and books. That table went away, yeah, no doubt. But you'll notice once you got that room opened, all of a sudden you had a little bit more functionality going on. Now, for me, the Yldrbacian Chronicles, they are a lifelong process. Okay, but Races of the World second printing is now on final expansion. Okay, I was looking at it today. It turns out I've got 99%. There's a couple of pictures I've got to get adjusted, but I'll get to those. But it is now time to go into final edit and make it happen. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, and I've got a number of others, but I've got a lot of cars already fired up. Energy flow works if you clear the clutter. Now, for those of you that are pack rats or hoarders, let's understand my definition of the two of them. A pack rat keeps all kinds of junk. 99% of it has a definitive potential use. A hoarder doesn't even throw away the garbage. Okay, and I mean the literal garbage. So you are looking at a problem with energy flow. People hang on to stuff because they're afraid of losing it. Okay, because they've been taught to fear lack. Now, I'm telling you, fearing lack is only part of the problem. Most of you, I would lay odds, fear success. Okay, Lord knows I did. Probably still do to a degree. But when we start getting the clutter out of the way, the energy levels will climb in your house. And this is a critical factor. Okay, and again, you don't have to believe me. Okay, this isn't a question of where's your proof. My proof is in your house. Okay, but finding that proof is in your hands, not mine. Remember that pass the buck thing? All yours. I can tell you how to do it. Okay, start with your office. Because once you get the office out of the way, you'll be able to function. Now, here's the funny part about it. That front door of yours, the front and back door, those are like your mouth. That is your way of communicating with the outside world. And let's not be silly. It's a great idea until you have a power outage. And then you're pretty much hooked. Okay. But, and yeah, in case you haven't figured it out, Apple iPhone. Of course, in all fairness, IBM doesn't make an iPhone. Well, yeah. where are we here? See, one of the things we have to remember is that when you get stuck in a rut, when you get tied into a thought process that says, I have to do it this way because it's the way I'm used to. Well, the way you're used to probably isn't producing the outcomes you'd like. Or you wouldn't be sitting there going, how do I change the way I'm doing things? Okay, it's that simple. Now, I work on a simple idea of let's look at where you are. Never mind how you got to where you are. How you got there doesn't matter. Okay, because my guess is you're not going to be retracing your steps to get out. Now, with this in mind, if you're not going back out the same way you came in, who cares how you got there? I mean, it's a curiosity thing, certainly. But when you start removing the clutter, you'll find first and foremost energy levels climb, health improves, get up and go stabilizes, your mental clarity will drop into place. Okay, net result, higher productivity levels. Again, don't take my word for it. If you haven't given it a shot, give it a shot. Then determine whether it works for you. Okay, but way too many people sit down and go, I don't like that because it's not the way I've been doing it. So I know what you're talking about. I'm doing it my way. I'm telling you right now, do it your way. If you're content and you're doing it that way, have a happy. I simply found that most people that tell me they're content and their energy levels are tanked and they're falling asleep during the day or they're just feeling overly blasé all the time, it's because whatever method they're using isn't working. And it is absolutely amazingly appalling to me the number of energy workers I talk to that don't understand or don't seem to understand the basics of energy manipulation. Basics being get the clutter out of your living area. Now, something to keep in mind. All those random thoughts you've been filling with garbage. Who stole from who? Who went to war with who? Who embarrassed who? Who had what kind of a wardrobe failure? All of these things are mental clutter. They are chatter that is stopping your brain from working at its proper level. Now, I know many of you are looking at it going, but we need to know what's going on in the news. Why? I mean, realistically, I have been on site where I've seen a newscast being broadcast, and the only thing they got right was the location. That's it. Now, I'm not sure about you, but being a gamer myself, I can paint a beautiful story all for myself. Okay, I really can. I don't require a whole lot of input from that end. Most of you have the same capacity. Just in all likelihood, it's underdeveloped. But by clearing the clutter out of the way, you'll clear the mindset. Thereby, you'll be able to think more clearly and act more productively. But I'm talking productively in your eyes. Energy doesn't flow if you've got a whole pile of clutter around it. Okay, it's just the unfortunate reality of it. And now what you've got to start looking at is literally, are you content with your life? Do you have the energy you'd like to have? Do you have the physical health you would like to have? Or are you digging yourself a little deeper into that neat little financial debt load that you've been dealing with? Okay, all of these are caused by clutter, whether it's physical clutter or it's clutter in the brain. Okay, energy will not flow properly through a closed door. And if your brain has reached a point where you're going, I know exactly what I'm doing, I know how to do it, and thereby, since you know it all, your cup is already full. Your closet is already tanked. So take the door, close it, no energy's going through it. Because at that point, you have made the decision you're not willing to change. You're not willing to learn of another possible direction. And you guys have the same options. Okay, when I wrote these 3 books, okay, they are written for a very simple reason. There's the 3 books being believe in yourself and follow your dreams. Believe in your business and follow your dreams. But remember, your household, the running of your household, is a business. And believe in your finances and follow your dreams. Now, I've got 2 others that are on the go that I've got to get done. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in your opinion, which do you think is more important? I'm pretty certain which way this is going to go. But in your opinions, which is more important? Believe in your organization and follow your dreams, or believe in your job and follow your dreams? Which, in your eyes, would be the most important one? Where's my list here? That's not what I'm looking for. That's part of it. Yeah, Ellie was real quick to jump on that. Okay, so what I've got here, priority listing. Whoops. Oh, okay. We have, and like I said, now remember that first karmic law. Be true to yourself first. Okay. So for me, the first one is definitively return to paradise. Okay, I've got about 30 pages, give or take, left to right. Or right to left, I don't know. Okay. Then we have Roe, Races of the Worlds, 2nd edition. Okay. After that, we will pop this one in. Believe in your organization. AKA Bio. Bio. That sounds really bad. Anyway, we will put that as a 3rd priority. Now, the neat part about it is it's very easy to set up. Okay. And it won't actually take me as long to deal with as you might think. I do have to, and this is just literally a statement that applies very much to Storm. Okay. I've got a hiccup with my word processor, and I don't know how to get the stupid thing to do what it's supposed to do. And I was about to call it something else, but we're not going to go there. I get that straightened out, and literally, I have a coloring book ready to go to print. Okay, I just have to figure out how to adjust something, but other than that, it's all ready together. Okay, and yes, said coloring book, just for your guys' edification, this is what I mean by getting organized. Get the clutter out of the way, and all of a sudden things come into play. I get this one phone call with Storm. Okay. Well, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I get this one little obstacle pulled together, and all of a sudden, that coloring book with, oh, perfect. Yeah, that I'll do that right after I get off stream. I don't think I've got anything booked. Matter of fact, I better double check that. Give me half a second, because I know who I can double check it with. We've got both. Yeah, well, sleeping bag will solve that. Okay, doke. Okay, I am back. Like I said, I had somebody I could talk to right away. And yeah. Where are we here? Yeah, LA. Absolutely. I just cleared it up. We don't have anything booked that has to happen tonight. So once I get done the stream, then I'll be clear to run that. Because the reality is I get that out of the way, that coloring book, and thereby, much as the Race of the Worlds is not readily available yet, Race of the World second printing, because I'm still adding information to it. Okay, but the pictures themselves, the line drawing side of it, are already there. They're already set up. I just have to get this one minor little glitch out of the way. And I'm sure it's like a 5-minute problem, but we are talking tech and me. And again, like I said, if you've got a problem, if you've got a problem getting your clutter organized, quite frankly, this is why I'm working on this. Okay, with that in mind, we are looking at a very simple issue. Gotta talk to her about that. So that's always a bonus. But energy itself, you've got to get the clutter out of the way to make things happen. In all likelihood, yeah, it's probably you go into settings somewhere and go, here's how you make it work. And bang, bing, bong, bang, done. That's the neat part about it. Okay, this is what I mean. Find people that know what they're doing. Do not make the mistake of going listening to somebody that says, oh, I can do it. I made that mistake. I brought somebody in. I can fix this right away. He knew less about the problem than I did. Room behind me to the right. Well, it depends on which way you're looking. The one with the open door or the other one that I keep walking out of. Because the one with the open door shouldn't be open. But thanks for pointing that out. But in answer to both questions, regardless of which one you're referring to, this room here is my ensuite bathroom. This one here is to the rest of my house. But the reality is, I tend to live most of my life inside this 10 by 10 area. Actually, I think it's 10 by 12. But I'm eliminating all of the excess clutter that I can. Even if you take a look, like right now, these shelves are set up properly. So are these, essentially. These 3 bottom ones, on the other hand, I still have to get out of the way. Because they've got my comics that I got to go through. I tried cataloging them. That proved to be a pain in the neck. But as you get the clutter out of the way, energy itself will flow more readily. Okay, now yes, you'll notice I've usually always during the day got paperwork on my table, on my bed. That's because I had to combine my office with my bedroom. But I don't have the clutter. Remember a few months back? You were over here. There were stacks of boxes right here. You'll notice they're gone. Therefore, the energy flows very nicely between that door and the office. Net result, here's my brain, there's the artery getting to the rest of the body. Now, I know for an absolute certainty that most of you have a bottleneck in the energy in your house. And yes, part of what we are talking about is feng shui. Probably pronouncing it wrong, get over it. Okay, the important factor is whether you understand it or not isn't the real critical factor. If you're not happy with your energy levels, this is a way of changing them for what you consider the better. Okay, kind of an important factor from that end. And the question that you really have to ask is, if you're not content, how long are you going to sit there waiting for somebody else to come and fix it? Thank you very much there, LA. Yeah, I run into a problem. Some pronunciation, I have a massive problem. But I do my best. I love the way somebody put it there the other day. And I forget exactly who it was. I'm pretty certain it was Joe that said, I'm not perfect, but I am doing my best. Now, the neat part about this is once you start the process and you start to see the changes, you'll notice that you feel much more inclined to finish the process. This is why you start with a small area. Like right now, my office is set up beautifully for me. Okay. Yes, I've got stuff on it right now because I'm working with it. Okay. But as I work with it, to straighten things out, not just move them around. The reason I put the water over there is because I keep it there for night. But when I'm looking at this stuff, I organize as I go. This will all get moved off of here and or thrown out. You know, I love things like this. Like this is just what I need. Our wonderful government at work, new electoral direct and districts. They changed it to play with numbers for one reason or another. But as long as I know where to go to vote, I'm okay. Now the thing is, this is the one thing I won't do. With positive perspectives, once fell. Positive perspectives may eventually get to be this size. Okay, what it won't get is a whole pile of advertisements from various different companies. I'm not about to turn it into a directory. Again, it boils down to thought processes and clearing the clutter out of your head. What kind of a future do you desire to have? Are you content with the present way, the way it is? If not, it's time to get straightened out. And the trick there is get the clutter out of the way. That way the energy can flow properly. You'll be able to think more clearly. And I'm telling you, it's easy to do. And yeah, I know everybody says it's easy. Well, let me ask you this. I'm not content with my coffee. Now, you can't see it. So we'll do it this way. I've got my pen in my left hand. I'm not content with that. Here's how painful change is. I don't like it there, so I put it over in my right hand. That's all we're talking about. Move the stuff where you desire it. Okay, don't just put it off in another shelf. Although sometimes, and that is something where it comes to organizing, that I will tell you, many times, get the junk out of the place, then pick a room that you can work with. But for the moment, we're going to pick a spot that you can work with. Okay, and what I mean by that is this. Okay, take a look at this. Now, this whole bookshelf has to be sorted. So you take a look at it. I've got 4 stacks here of 5 drawers each. If I target each one of these drawers and go, this is what they're going to contain, okay, and deal with them one at a time, one step at a time, you will get the clutter moved. You will get the energy flow running properly. Okay, and I'm saying you will because I've done it. You may well be sitting here going, I've tried it before, it never worked. Well, I don't doubt that. Doesn't mean that you can't make it happen, but I will tell you this. Every time I did this, it backfired. Usually happens in relationships. Every time I reach out this way, I get burnt. So I'm not reaching out that way anymore. Okay? You got to look at the common denominator. Where it comes to the energy flow in your house, you are the common denominator. Your effort, your dedication to you is what's going to make the difference. Now, I can tell you these are the tools to use. And I've told you many times, okay, you take a sheet of paper, put 3 things on the list. Okay. Now, in my case, I have a tendency to gain more than that. But you get 3 things on the list. You write them down. But make sure your list, the things on the list, are only 15 minutes to half an hour in length each. Okay. Now, here's why. Where did we go? Right there. 3 of the things on my list right now are these 3 books. Okay. Now, it only takes me, because I don't put a lot of time into it, it's only going to take me 10, 15 minutes to read all 3 of them. Because I only read 2 or 3 pages at a time. That's why it takes me so long. But it gets them done. This year I've finished off 3 books, I think 4 actually. Okay, this year alone by doing this. Okay, now granted, 2 of them were started last year. 2 of them I started this year and finished because I got the energy running in the right direction. I picked what I was changing and I deliberately made it happen. You desire your life to change. You desire the energy in your life to pick up speed so you're healthier, thinking more clearly, more physically energetic, okay, and more rested. I'm telling you, point blank, the method I'm talking about works. You don't have to believe me any more than you have to believe me that gravity works. Okay, I can pretty much guarantee you trip at the top of the stairs, gravity's going to have a heyday with you, whether you believe it or not. Energy does the same thing. Whether you like the way I describe it, whether you believe the way I describe it is 100% irrelevant. Okay, ask your $10 bill if it cares whether you're in a good mood. Okay, or if it cares who you voted for. Money doesn't care any more than the rest of the energy. Okay, it's up to you to make the changes. Okay, hopefully this message is getting across. Because I'm telling you, as it affects you, and you turn around and, like most people, tell the people around you, hey, I found a key to get my life in order. It worked. Okay, this will help the people you reach out to as well. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I'm still putting out the magazine. Okay, now, I went in and talked to my printer today, but turned out she wasn't there. Her assistant was. So on Monday, I'm going to be going back down and talking directly to her, especially if we get this mess sorted around, if Storm is able to sort out this mess I've got, because that means this weekend I put the coloring book together and it goes to print. Okay, well, more to the point, I put the coloring book together and she and my printer designs the cover, so likely a week down the road it goes to print. But you get the idea how fast things can shift. Same thing will happen in your world. Okay. And I was talking to somebody today, today or yesterday. They've got a book that they're aiming to get out. We were talking about it with our editor as well, and they nearly had a coronary on the sides of the book. But you got to remember, the Yldrbacian Chronicles, when all 12 of them are completed, is a 4,800 approximately page document. it'll come out in 12 different volumes. Then on top of that, there are at least, well, just add another 3, but at least another already in the works, 2 books, 3 books that are already on the block to get printed. Okay, so we are talking about a work that when I'm done with it, the Yldrbacian Chronicles is likely to be, what would it be? That'd be 4,800. So we're probably looking at close to $5,000 or $5,000, 5,000 pages of an extremely detailed saga. Okay, it won't be in one book. Not a prayer. The binding wouldn't hold. Can you picture how much binding would be required to put 5,000 pages in one book? I'm thinking we may have a problem. But whether you believe the energy is a fan, that your productivity level is affected by the state of your office, I was going to say I hate to put it to you this way, but frankly, I really don't, because it's the only way I know of to put it. Whether you believe it's affected has no bearing on the fact that it is. Okay. And, for those of you that go, where they're going to sit there and go, where's your proof? Where's your education? My education is literally 60 years of being absolutely stupid, knowing better and doing it anyway. There's my education. I didn't go to school to find out how to organize. In case you hadn't noticed, most people working in those fields don't know how to do it anyway. Okay, and yeah, I know that's cold. No, I am not better than anybody. Okay, might be a little bit more directly spoken than many, but it boils down to this: the energy in your house. If you're not well, if you're not feeling well, anytime you have an illness, anytime at all. Okay. Yeah, LA goes, good old SHK, School of Hard Knocks. Absolutely. If you are ill, and I don't care what the illness, okay, I'm wearing glasses. This means I have a dis-ease in what I'm looking at. And I'm telling you, as soon as I started to realize that was the problem, all of a sudden, my eyes started to clear up. Okay, you're having throat problems, you likely have a dis-ease in the fact that you're biting your tongue and not speaking your own truth. Clutter is usually a question of, I'm just too lazy to change. Or, I've gotten into a comfortable rut. This is the way it feels right. I'm telling you, whether it feels right or not does not mean it's working properly. And it's one of those neat little hiccups that when we look at the situation, you gotta realize that if what you're doing is not leaving you, is not having you wake up rested, energized, looking forward to driving your day wherever you desire it to go, if you're not waking up with that kind of kick, the energy in your house, in your primary living space, or in your work environment is bottlenecked. Again, you don't have to believe me. But if you haven't cleared it out, clear it out and then decide if it worked. Okay. I was told, I told a gentleman one day, gotta get back in touch with him, but had a client that had many restaurants. Okay. He told me that he literally thought I was off my nut because I was telling him things that went against everything he's been taught. And I'm telling you things that likely go against much of what you've been taught. I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to say this is what works. If you're not happy, give it a shot. If you don't know entirely how to correct it, okay, and you're willing to give it a shot, drop me a line. I'll be more than happy to lay it out for you. Okay. And again, I just simply made an adjustment right here on the stream. I am putting together Believe in Your Organization and Follow Your Dreams. I will lay it out in simple terms in how to make it happen. Okay. And the neat part about it, one of the things I add to every one of those books is I'll tell you why you don't desire to do it in all likelihood. Okay, I'll go, okay, here's why you don't desire to do it. And I'll tell you the biggest reason: I'm afraid of change, or I'm afraid of success, or it's too much work. I've got such a massive job and it's overwhelming. Of course, it's overwhelming. You spent your entire life building a path that was completely bottlenecked, and you never got told it was bottlenecked. And if you were told it was bottlenecked, you were never shown how to straighten it out. Okay, I'm telling you, I'm going to lay the path out for you. I'm not going to make you walk through the door. That's your job. Okay, but let me ask you this. Whenever you're looking at something, and this is why I've kept the book small, okay, because the question you have to ask, if you write a book, where is it? Not that one. That one there. This one will paint the picture really nicely. I'm going to show you a book here that somebody took the time to write. This was actually my brother's. But most people that write books on self-help, how to straighten out your finances, how to handle something, most people are writing a book that's like this size. Okay, or, fair size. I'm telling you. Now compare this. There's a book with a whole pile of information. Now this one happens to be the Handbook of Chemistry and Physics. My brother used to call it the Rubber Bible. Okay. A lot of information, but it boils down to a couple of very simple factors. No, I'm not writing a new one. Okay. But these books here, whole lot smaller. Okay. Really small. The reason for it, simple tools, simple techniques. Okay. Quick to implement, thoroughly tested by literally thousands of people. Okay. And by the way, just to give us an idea here, I wonder if this will tell me. Oh, this is numbered by the odds and ends. There is no way I can give you a page count on this one. I can tell you, to give you an idea, the book War and Peace is about 1,000 pages. Okay. You notice how quick that happens? Put stuff back where it belongs, and all of a sudden you don't have the clutter problem. But when we are taking a look at energy, it is up to you to make it change. The more clutter you have, the more bottlenecked it's going to be. The lower your energy levels, and the less healthy you're going to feel. So much for English. What do we got here? Okay. Now, again, all of the books I've got, if you look at the top of the chat room, you'll see a link to buy me a coffee. Every one of the books I've got is available through there. If you're looking for something a little fancier, then we go to here. Nope, not there. Try that again. We go to here, and this is a slightly fancier website. I think. Where the heck is it? There we are. Is this one here? Okay, if you want to see a slightly fancier website, this one, quite frankly, is this has all the books available on it. Okay, that's rkeithandrews.com. Okay, but every one of the books I work with is right there. Okay, now the neat part about all of this is, yes, I have repeated myself multiple times, and there is a reason for that. Way too many people, you hear it once and it's just in one ear and out the other. I used to be that way with names. Now I'm remembering them much more readily. You know, I'm still not perfect at it by any stretch. Okay, that being said, I know I've mentioned this before, and I've been playing around with the idea, but I am coming down to Reno in May, i.e., we're looking less than 2 months. Okay, we are looking at less than 2 months to be in Reno. And, if you do meet me, you'll find I am exactly the same way. I don't speak quite as much with my hands because I tend to be moving around a little more. Okay, but am I still opinionated? Absolutely. Did I used to be? I used to not say a word to anybody. Okay, I still have people lined up looking for me, but I never said a word to anybody. Okay, the nice part about it from my standpoint is real simple. Okay, I look at this. I know I'm sitting on a lot of information. Many of you have way more information and way more knowledge in your heads than you actually realize or than you actually believe. Usually because somebody told you, oh, you're stupid. You don't know what you're doing. How can you think that in that ridiculous fashion? And then we get people going, hey guys, the world's ending. We're all going to die. And billions of people sit there listening to you. I'll tell you, if you don't change the way your life is going, if you don't clear the clutter out, then the clutter is going to stay there. Hate to tell you this, God's not coming down to clean out your closet. Neither are any of the aliens. Although I do know a number of people that would be happy to clean out your house. No, I don't deal with them. I shouldn't say I know them now. I should say I used to. But you're the one with the ability to alter the way your life is going. Start with the brain of your house. Wherever you work on your finances, wherever you work on your organizational tactics, that's where you start. That's where the brain of your home and your work are situated. Okay. Now, whether you get moved to the main organs or the arteries, I will break each of those down in believing your organization. Okay. I will break them each down and you get to figure out which one you do first. The reality is, if the arteries are completely clogged, you're not getting to the main organs. Okay. It's just that simple. Now, there's a number of different philosophies on the way that you handle energy. And part of it, and do understand, I will lay out what has worked for me. And literally, I've seen work for thousands of other people. Okay, you got to remember, I've been working as a professional, spiritual, and business guide for 37, going on 38 years now. I think that's right. Yeah, going on 38 years. Okay, so yeah, I've got more experience in that field than some of you have years of life. Okay, now I am not the oldest there is by any functional stretch. Okay, but I will tell you, you desire your life to change. I'm sitting on a key that has proven successful. No, it is not backed up by, by Hills and Barnes or whoever. Okay, all it is backed up by myself and literally thousands of people that have used the tools. It's up to you to decide whether that's a good gamble. Okay. But I will tell you, much as I was told one day I was told by somebody that what I'm sitting on with those little books, I could do something as silly as go, you could charge $100 a book. And I probably could. Wouldn't sell any, but I could probably do that. In your guys' case, okay, I'm telling you what you need, what you've got to do. So, again, just in case, like I'm not about to say I've got the tools. Here's a neat little thing. I've got the tool right here. Okay, for straightening your finances out. I got the tool right here. If you want the information, buy my book. You want the information at hand, that's where the purchase comes in. You desire to get the energy in your house cleared up to watch your health, your energy level, your focus, your drive, and your projects all come online. Okay, you desire that, you start and write it down. Don't wait for you, don't take the time to go, and this is going to sound really counterintuitive. Don't take the time to go, oh, I'll put the money aside and buy it. That's a great idea. And, I've never turned down money from anybody. Not when there's no strings attached. But take the time to write it down. Clear your work area, wherever you're working on your finances and your organization. Okay. In other words, your computer station and your filing cabinet. I don't care if your filing cabinet is a box of receipts. Okay. Get those two, get the clutter out of the way. When you've done that, you'll find you can think more effectively. Now you're ready to move forward. Okay, pick wherever you are. I mean, the easiest way of looking at it is this. You're sitting wherever you are right now. Maybe you're reclining on a chair and you're listening. Look at the table beside you. Is it completely clear of clutter? Now, this doesn't mean it's a coffee cup that you've been drinking out of. Is it gone? I'm talking about the stuff that doesn't belong there and is not in use. Right there, you start there. You're on the chair. Theoretically, you don't have anything on the chair except yourself and probably a cat if you own one. Maybe a dog that thinks they're a lap dog. I know we had a Bouvier cross one day. Bouvier black lab. That literally thought he was a lap dog. And I'll tell you, if you got one of those laying on your lap, you're not getting up easy. But you start with where you are and work your way outwards. Absolutely imperative. Do not wait we'll be shining down here, and what time are we? Oh, look at that. We've already gone through an hour and a half. That's amazing. But take a look at it and don't wait. Do not procrastinate further. You desire your life, your energy, your organizational focus, your accomplishments. You desire them to get done and out of the way and completed. You desire to attain your goals. Get started on it now. Don't go waiting for somebody else to come in and say, you really should get up. It's like I tell people, parents absolutely, usually when they're raising kids, they'll go, okay, get your backside out of bed, get off the computer, go and do this. Absolutely they do. Okay. And if you want to look at me as a parent, be my guest. I am a parent. Okay. If you're expecting me to take responsibility for your mess, don't hold your breath. I don't like taking responsibility for my own. So I'm not likely to take responsibility for yours. But I will tell you, you get up, you start moving the clutter out of the way, and you're clearing out the drainage line so the energy can move. As soon as that happens, that cesspool you've got that's blocking off your energy starts to drain. And this is why I say, if you're of the mindset that you watch what is going on in the news, that's fantastic, Christine. Now I got a really bizarre question for you. You got the clutter corner cleared out of the way. Now that you go in there, does it or does it not feel better than it did before you got rid of the clutter? As in, does it feel like the energy is moving a little clearer? You can think a little more easily in that corner as compared to what you could. You know, the thing that I found was as soon as I started getting stuff out of the way, my mind started to kick into gear. Not necessarily a good idea, but of course, you haven't seen what my mind looks like. You know, I've been debating. I may bring down. I won't be bringing down a lot to Reno, that's for certain. I'm coming down very light. Oh, there we go. Yeah, all my electronic stuff is in it, and then I'll stack it up in the closet. Yeah, you know, and again, sometimes that's what it takes, just putting it and make sure, whatever you do, Christine, if you didn't think about this, I'm betting you did. Label the boxes that you're stacking clearly so they're visible from the front, so you don't have to go looking for them again. Okay, kind of an important factor. What I found happen is I start laying things out and I'll spread it out over the bed and go, okay, I got all these stacks sorted out. And then all of a sudden I got a neat little hiccup. Yeah, and that's absolutely the case. Like, you know, one thing is for certain, Christine, I recommend people hang on to certain things. Keepsakes like what you've mentioned. Okay. Keepsakes that you've mentioned. Christmas decorations, birthday decorations if you've got them, this sort of thing. Well, it's a great idea, but unfortunately it didn't solve the problem very well. I don't see it. Oh, I did some. I think that's this one here. This little box here. I have no idea why I'm dragging this down. Oh. Didn't even realize I still have that. That is the one. I don't even know what that box is. This thing here. Lord knows why I've got it. Okay, this little guy is literally the first stuff I ever won. Why I've still got him, Lord knows. And I wondered where that went. I'm gonna show you something here. Yeah, this is called a walk down memory lane. My memory, not yours. Everybody's got a box similar to this, I'm sure of it. Whoop. I don't even know what that one is. But here's one you guys are going to get that some of you may get a kick out of. You've seen dice and what have you. Now, you're not going to be able to see this very well. I thought I'd lost these. Now, I can't open it up. But you see this? That is a full deck of 52 cards. Okay, 52 playing cards. I know you can't see it really, but you can see sort of a little bit of writing underneath that. This is 52 actual playing cards. And they're small, well, they're about the same size as my pinky, as the nail on my pinky. Then we've got these. And there's a reason these are in a container. In this container, I have 2 dice. 2 6-sided dice. Okay. I kept them, and it's clear why I put them in this bottle. Okay. I keep weird things on occasion, but at least I don't have a body in here. I've got a skull over there, but no body. But that's a useless little piece there. Ultimately, Christine, yes. Matter of fact, that brings to mind something else. Give me 10 seconds. Well, a little longer. Not clear yet. Okay. You guys ever wondered what a fairy looks like? Here's a life-size figure. That's the size of the poor little people. Not the biggest things in the world. Okay. And yeah, realistically, they are small enough they could do that. I'm putting you back up there. Okay. But again, yeah, we got a little sidetrack here. But what you're looking at is the issue of get the clutter out of the office to start with, out of wherever you're working on thinking process, on organization. Because the clearer it is, the quicker the energy will flow. And the more productive you're likely to be. There. And that was your useless piece of show and tell for the day. Yeah, Ellie goes, I also kept his lovey, a tiny, whoa. Oh, tiny blanket he drunk. I'm missing that last word. Yeah, absolutely. You know, and you hang on to those, and eventually you turn them over to your kid when they get a little older. You know, in my case, I've hung on to a lot of stuff for my kids, much of which I'm going to be getting rid of soon. But the nice part about it, when we start looking at energy flow, you will find a few things very necessary. Clear the clutter out of the way, and the energy, when what you'll be doing is clearing the rocks and the trees, you know, and the brush and the leaves out of your gutter or out of the stream, enabling the water to run much smoother. Yeah, see, I can't give mine to my kids' wives because neither one of them, as far as I'm aware, even has a stable girlfriend, never mind a wife. In my case, I'm not married, but I will be. Assuming, of course, she says yes when I ask her. See, the thing you got to remember is it is literally, when we're talking about energy flow, we are talking about your energy. It literally is all about you. Yes, this is where people that are rather narcissistic get an upper hand. You know, you look at a narcissist and go, it really is all about you. And they'll go, well, of course it is. It's naturally all about me because it isn't everything. Okay, but it is literally about how you feel about your life. If you're content with it, the odds are you didn't stick around to listen. Okay. Unless you're one of these curious people that go, I wonder how many people are going to stay in this room and listen to this genius kind of just babble. You know, and there are people that will do that. Thankfully, the problem children seem to be finding their way to somewhere else, which frankly, I don't have a problem with the problem children. I'm quite willing to straighten them out. most of them don't want to be straightened out. Or they figure they're perfect anyway. Myself, I'm not even functionally close to perfect. I wasn't the last lifetime I came here. I'm not this lifetime. In all fairness, my last lifetime I was an absolute, well, we won't go there. But don't take my word for it. Put the tools to use. Start getting the clutter out of the area. Even if it's not what you believe, what you've taught, what you've permitted yourself to dig into a rut, and you believe this is the way that I've got to do it. I've got to go to that meeting and make this sale. It's absolutely necessary, but you clear the clutter out of your area and you'll be much better suited, much better mindset to close the deal on that sale or on that purchase or on that negotiation contract. Whatever it is, get the clutter out of the way, your brain starts working better. Net result, you're more productive, you're more prosperous, okay? And, I'm quite happy. We are right now on the 15th. In literally just over a month, I have, and it's not much. I told you at the beginning of the year, I was tracking my book sales, my consultations, the whole 9 yards in a word of mouth database. Okay, to be paid out quarterly. The first check will go out. Actually, I've got 2 of them going out. Will go out in January or in April. Okay, I will be cutting them loose to the individuals involved. Okay, and I know the individuals are going to look at it and go, "What the heck is this for?" Well, what it's for is that when you get it, it is for me to say thank you for your support, because I'm telling you, the fact I've got people in this room. In fact, I wonder if this changed. Just hit refresh on the stream here on the other screen to see what it does. And it does look like we seem to have stabilized at 603. So we are climbing. Okay. And I'm telling you, from my standpoint, working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. But it's going to take work on your part. In other words, I can lay out the tools. I cannot make you do them. It's like I told somebody the other day. I can explain what I'm looking at. I can explain it to you. I cannot understand it for you. And I certainly am not going to get up and make the changes in spite of you. Okay, what I will do is tell people, if you're going to come to me and go, here's the problem I need to understand, I require guidance. If you come to me and I go, here's the guidance, if you choose not to bother with it, that is your prerogative. I just am not likely to be that soft-spoken about, well, I told you what you needed to do, and you decide you didn't choose to do it, and you're complaining to me why. If you don't alter the energy flow in your own life, if you don't eliminate and modify the negative energies around you, your life will stay the same way it is. Okay, if you sit down to dinner and the best meal in the world is put on the plate in front of you with a fork or with your hands, depending on what the meal is, the best meal in the world, the most delicious aromatic food that you can imagine, gets put on the plate in front of you on the table. You don't pick up something and put that food in your mouth, it ain't going to do you a bit of good. Although if you sit there long enough, it will get fuzzy. I'm recommending you don't take that option. And definitely, if the food in front of you gets fuzzy, do not eat it. Now, I know some genius is going to listen and go, well, Keith said, food on the table, fuzzy, eat it. No. Okay. There was a line in a show called Near Dark it's the only movie I've ever seen that was a clear vampire movie and never used the word vampire once. And the one guy looks at another one and goes, I hate them when they ain't been shaved. Well, same thing with fuzzy food. Fuzzy food that doesn't belong fuzzy to start with, not edible. Okay, at least not tasting well. But take a look at where your world is. Are you content with the way your life is running? Are you content with the turnout that you've got, with your success levels? You know, like I said, the button at the top of the stream that says, buy me a coffee. Every one of the books that I've got is available through that link. Every one of them. Okay, that's the only place they're available right now is directly through me. But, that said, that's up to you. I will still work here. This is Friday right now. Tomorrow, which is Saturday. Right. What do we got? DB, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Here's the neat little thing. Okay, on Saturday, we are going to be looking at communication, how it works, why it works, and what is so critical about it. Now, this does not mean I'm going to speak in some different language. I speak over tongues all the time. Well, I speak over tongue all the time. I don't know about you, but I got a tongue in my mouth. Therefore, when I speak, the noise goes over it. But that's as far as it goes. Okay. I do, however, speak very fluently. Mumblese. I used to speak slurries, but I'm not good at that anymore. Okay. Every now and again, you'll notice I can speak stutteries without a problem. But on the whole, they're all just different dialects of English. But you desire your life to change. Now is the time to make it happen. The fact is, if you don't move the clutter, the energy in your house will not pick up pace. It's that simple. Okay? You don't make a change, it's not going to change either. Okay? You don't open your eyes, you're not going to see anything. Especially if we're talking your physical eyes being closed. The nice part about it is all of these changes that I'm talking about, where it comes to energy flow, I'm not talking about 6 weeks down the road you'll sense a change. Okay, I'm talking 6 minutes down the road, maybe 6 seconds from the time that you start moving the clutter out of the way. Your life is going to start to change. The energy will alter. Okay, and this is something again. This is again something that you don't have to take my word for it. Make the change and see what happens. 6 minutes ain't that long to work with. Except for with Christine here going, severe storm warning here. Hail, tornado. Take care, Christine. Keep us posted. Hope you're safe. Well, I've had that happen once before. I was talking to a guy in Kentucky who ended up with a tornado warning. Okay, DB, without a doubt, the best one to amplify, and I do caution you on this, clear quartz is the best one to amplify it, but keep clear quartz away from your computer. Okay, it will amplify the energy. Clear quartz crystal is the best one for amplification. Smoky quartz will amplify it in a slightly more controlled fashion. And rose quartz, of course, brings in unconditional love at the same time. Okay, but that's probably one of the best available. Now, with this in mind, we are hitting the 2-hour mark here. And I really want to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with me. I really do appreciate it. Love the question there, DB. And glad to be of help. Thank you so much for sharing your time. That's after clutter control. Yeah, in a lot of ways. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate it. I will be back to you to talk to you again tomorrow. Until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.